everyone, Tony Tonkin here from Wise, Witty and Weird. Now, today I'm going to talk about my favourite politician, the one that all of us in Australia admire greatly, because actually, at the end of the day, this guy clearly is one of the worst politicians you could ever come across. Now, there'll be people within the Liberal National Party who will probably have some disagreement with me over this issue. But I just wanted to present to you a response that Barnaby Joyce had in Question Time, which actually has turned up on Twitter with quite a degree of criticism, asking the question whether or not Barnaby was pissed when he was in Parliament the other day. Now, I must confess, sometimes it's difficult to tell whether Barnaby's sober at the best of times, but in this particular clip, you might get some indications that perhaps he was drunk. And it raises some questions about drinking on the job, about his adequacy as an appropriate politician to be representing us, and whether he particularly is the sort of politician that we want representing us as the Deputy Prime Minister. Now, there are many aspects of Barnaby's life that we could start to criticise, whether it's having affairs, whether it's getting drunk, whether it's some of his misogynistic sort of behaviours, whether it's just about his general disrespect for everybody. I'm just going to play the clip, probably its entirety. I might stop it along the way to have a conversation with you about what's being said. But this is what he said in Parliament yesterday, which was the 4th of August. And let's see what you think. Now, you make up your own mind as to whether or not you think that any of this has any real value or not. And if you've got any comments, please put them below. And I just need to say that if you wish to subscribe to this channel, please do so. We're anxious to get as many people as we can subscribing, and certainly ring the bell so you can get any future notifications. Okay, here we go with Barnaby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I would not seek to undermine your ruling. I was preparing to get up and ask this question while I removed the mask. So, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members on both
My
sides.
question, Mr. Speaker, is to the Deputy Prime Minister. Will the Deputy Prime Minister update the House on how the Morrison-Joyce government is delivering essential water infrastructure and other infrastructure, creating jobs and opportunities for Australians living in rural and regional communities?
The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And I'd like to acknowledge the member for Dawson, and I also like to thank him for his long period of...
I just like the idea that he kind of waddles up to this stand to make this comment on a question that was asked by one of his colleagues, and that colleague was in trouble anyway because he hadn't had his mask on, and someone from the other side raised that attention to the chair. So that was what that was all about at the beginning. But this is Barnaby still. He wanders up, and his whole approach to walking up to the delivery box is one which kind of wonders whether he was actually pissed at that particular time. I'm sure he didn't get pissed during the speech, but whether he was intoxicated, just watch the way he walks up to it, and watch the way he tries to address the question, which is about the supply of water.
...preparation for this question, because it does need a lot of attention, because we note the member for Dawson and the member for Capricornia's great work in such things as Rookwood Weir. Rookwood Weir, which is being built as we speak. It's being built as we speak, and we note that we wanted to make it bigger, but the Labor Party wanted to make it smaller. We also note the Labor Party and how out at Callide Weir, they're taking the gates off the Weir. They don't believe in water infrastructure. We note in the member for Hinkler's seat, Paradise Dam. What did the Labor Party do? Made it smaller. They don't believe in water.
I just like at this bit, you notice Morrison walks out. I don't think he left the room, but he had to get away from the dispatch box where this dude was raving, because I think at this particular point, people in Parliament started to think this man was a wee bit crazy.
Infrastructure, but we do note the $12.65 million further that we've put into Urana Dam to do to finalise the geotech work and the environmental impact study, so we can also start building that one next year, just like we're building Rookwood. We note the Sunraysia modernisation project in the seat of Mallee and the work we have been done there, completed. completed. We note the South West Loddon Rural Supply Scheme, because they said we didn't build any, completed. We also note the Gippsland Macalester Irrigation District Scheme, Phase 1B, completed. We note also in the seat of Mallee, the Mitiamo District Reticulation Water Scheme. They say we didn't build anything, completed. These things are actually done. They were never done under the Labor Party. Oh no, not under the Labor Party. We note the Mareeba Dimbula Water Supply Scheme, which is getting so close right now to completion.
I think it's about here that he kind of starts to lose track just a wee bit. He obviously had a list of all these things that they'd done, because this is a Dorothy Dix, it's a prepared question, and he had an opportunity to talk about all the wonderful things they've done about building these dams. Well, maybe, maybe not. Who cares? At the end of the day, this is about this man being the voice of Australia and the Australian people, and whether he should or should not be if he can't conduct himself in the people's house.
They say we didn't build it, but we're actually showing them. We're building them, and we've got further to go. Now, I like going to the movies, and I can't but always remember Howard Hughes.
This is a gem where he talks about like how in the hell he got to this point about going to the movies, and Howard Hughes, the great aviator, because he tries to make a disparaging comment between Albanese and the great Albanese, and he kind of gets tied up in knots. This is so good.
Howard Hughes, the aviator. But Howard Hughes, the aviator, but the Labor Party got Albo the advocator. Yeah, the great advocator, the great ideas man, straight from the pool room. But never in this whole period of time, from between his lips has he uttered a word about one dam he will build in regional Australia. Not one dam is going to come out of this man. He has never uttered about one regional road he's going to build.
At this point, you looked over at Albo, and he's getting really just can't figure out what the hell this man's talking about, and so he kind of looks at one of his colleagues and kind of points at him to say, "Well, what the hell is going on here?" And then I think he stands up and asks the question.
The Deputy Prime Minister will resume his seat. The Leader of the Opposition on a point of order.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm forced to bring out the on-weirdness. Stuff. I have no idea what this is, but it's
Leader of the
nothing to do with
Opposition
the
will
question.
resume his seat. That is not a point of order. The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Much no should continue on. The great advocator, there he is, because we are never going to get anything constructed by him. But he did have one great idea. We saw it the other day. $300 per jab. I think that was just your idea.
No, the Deputy Prime Minister needs to resume his seat, and I think we might as well leave it there. Whilst he was asked about alternative policies, they need to be alternatives to the issues laid out in the question.
So the issue here is Smith noticed he was pissed, and the Speaker, and he had to call it off because it had gone too far, and he knew that the ALP were about to raise some serious objections about the way Barnaby was carrying on. So he had to stop it, which he did. So I'm interested to know what you think. Was Barnaby pissed at this particular point in time? Should he be censured for being drunk on the job? And this raises further issues, I think, about the conduct of members of Parliament and whether members of Parliament should be sanctioned for their behaviour. Certainly should around sexual harassment and bullying, but should they be sanctioned also around drinking on the job and turning up to work pissed? Any other environment, any other workplace would say, no, you can't do that. In fact, we have testing stations around the place and you have to be able to show that you're not inebriated. Should we do that in Parliament House? Because I think there's an argument that we should. We should. So I just want to thank everybody for being with me. I'm glad that you were here, and I certainly hope that you can create a discussion as a result of some of these things we've talked about. Okay, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.